What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do a look with the new NATASHA DENONA bronze palette. You probably heard me say a look and you're like, what the hell, Nicole, you lazy, stupid, lazy ass. There's a reason. I swear there's a reason. Okay, first of all, reason number one, my hair. Wow, my hair is really tangled. That's not the reason. So reason number one is that I'm gonna level with you guys. A lot of you asked me to review this palette, which is why I decided to do it because, you know, I take requests. But I thought that this palette looked like a snooze fest. It looked boring to me. Also, there's a huge fly flying around in here. I don't know. The other reason is more pleasant. It's because I wanted to leave time in this video to show you guys the way I've been doing a lighter, more bronzy base for summer weather. So I've been wearing this base, like this skin setup here, on a daily basis, either with my makeup when I go out or with barely any eye makeup or lipstick or anything at all, just like as a light base to go about my life. I really like the way it looks. I really like the way it wears. And I asked you guys on Instagram and like 97% of you said that you wanted to see it. So here we are. I'm going to include that in this video because what better video to do a bronzy summer skin with than a bronze palette? You know what I mean? It just all seemed to make sense. So that's what we're doing today. Leave me a comment, let me know, or leave a like and let me know if that's something that you want to see more of going forward in the future, or if you're really just here for eye looks. I don't really care either way. I'm not going to take offense to it. I just want to know what you guys think, so I know what you want to see. Speaking of that though, leave a like on this video if you don't mind taking a second because it's very helpful to me. Also, if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe. I will warn you in advance, especially if you are new around here, I am on one today, okay? I am absolutely a shit show. I just started my period, but I'm also like really energetic, which is quite a combination, I have to say. I'm like clumsy, but like also there's a lot. If you are new and you still want to stick around in spite of that, then I would love to have you. As always, I'll list all of the products that I use on my face, on my eyes, outside of the palette. All of that will be listed in the description. Today won't have timestamps because we're only doing one look and so we don't really need them. Before I dig this hole of stupidity any deeper, let's get into it. We'll start with this bronzy summer skin as well as a look with the NATASHA DENONA bronze palette. So to start off this skin, I like to use a moisturizing primer, or in this case, a priming moisturizer. So moisturizer first, primer second. This is the Good Molecules silicone-free priming moisturizer. I'm almost out of this stuff. I love this primer. So I'm just gonna take some of that on my fingertips and spread it into my skin all over, going for the whole thing. Even bringing that up right underneath my eyes because, hello, we are getting a little older and we can use all of the hydration there we can get. For the actual foundation, and I say foundation in quotes because this is not a foundation, this is kind of like a very light tinted moisturizer, very light coverage BB cream maybe. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin One and Done. This is a very underrated product. I never hear anybody talk about this, but this is so good. It's really light, but it kind of just evens you out, but it looks so natural on your skin. And the way it wears off in the sweaty summer heat is what I really like most about it because it's so light that like you could drip sweat down your face and you can't really see the differentiation of where your pouring sweat has removed your makeup. But when it's intact, it still looks like and kind of like perfects the skin a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's like just that right amount of coverage. Right now, I'm closest to their shade medium because I have fake tanner on, but my tan is a couple days faded, so I am mixing in a pump of light medium, or medium light rather. And I like to apply this product with a foundation brush or a buffing brush, something along those lines. This one is from Thrive Cosmetics, and this is actually their bronzer brush. I find it to be quite lovely for foundation. I'm gonna do one side of my face first so you can get an idea of like what the coverage looks like, because as you can see, or I hope you can see, it does look like much more smooth and like perfected, but you can still see my freckles and stuff through it. See? Coverage, but nothing crazy. All right, this next step, it seems weird. but I'm gonna show you what I do anyway because it works for me and maybe this will be helpful for you. I like to take a powder foundation. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked, the Fix powder. This is my favorite powder foundation, and I'm going to take my Blendiful from Tati Beauty, which I still like a lot, by the way. And I'm gonna dip into just whatever's left of this powder because I'm almost out of it. I'm gonna use this not just to set that tinted moisturizer, but to give me more coverage in the area that I feel like I need it. And I don't know about you guys, but for some reason, one of the areas where I feel like I need more coverage, or one of the areas where I feel like my face benefits from more coverage without adding to heaviness, is around my jaw. So I'm gonna kind of just pat this in right around my jaw where I do happen to have a couple of little blemishes, but also for some reason, when I do a heavier coverage right in that area, it's like it makes the rest of the face look more perfected without adding any kind of like a heavy look to the overall situation. I don't know why. I don't know why. If anybody knows the science behind why that might be, please go ahead and let me know. But for some reason it works. I'm sticking to it. Okay, friends, I primed my eyes, and I primed my eyes before I did bronzer. Wow, Nicole, why would you do that? Be quiet for a second and let me finish and I'll tell you. I personally find it to look most complete when I do my bronzer after my eye primer and before my brows, because I take the bronzer that I put on my forehead and I blend it through my brows so that everything looks like natural and all together. Now, is that like thinking too far into the situation? Maybe, but it's what I do, so it's what I'm going to show you. I also happen to still be using the NABLA Skin Bronzing bronzers, both of them that I used in the video where I reviewed them. I love them. I think they might be my favorite bronzers of all time. The more I use them, the more I love them. So we're gonna be using them again today. As a bronzing, actually, like an actual bronze color, yeah. I'm going to be using the shade Dune, again, the same way I did in the first video. And I'm going to be using the NABLA Big Powder Brush. I'm going to start by putting that on my forehead, right up into my hairline, just leaving it out right in the center because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't generally get a tan right here in the center of my forehead, which is weird because you would think it's like right there and the sun's right there, but that's not usually how it happens. And like I said, bringing that right down through my eyebrows onto the top of my brow bone. Also bringing it right up into my hairline because I don't know, like it looks really weird when my hairline is white through my black hair and then like it's bronze on my forehead. Like it doesn't look normal. I'm also going to bring that across the higher part of my cheekbone, like not where I would contour, just like a little bit up from there because I'm going to blend the contour into that. And also, I'm going to do a little Raw Beauty Kristi style here. She's the one who got me started doing this. Just taking a little bit of the bronzer and putting it right across my nose. I'm going to grab this BH brush. I think this is a number 10. And I'm going to go into the shade Ambra, which is more of a contour shade for me. And I'm going to pop that under my cheekbones, down the sides of my nose. Since this is such a light contour shade for me, I can be real willy-nilly with it even as a nose contour, but we are going for like a much lighter type of a base here, so it all makes sense, it all adds up. And I'm going to use that to just contour under my jaw so I don't look like because like I do this a lot apparently. Not that the contour helps when I do that, but it just makes me feel better. Also, little fun trick. I don't know if you guys, maybe you already know this, maybe this isn't a trick at all, but I like to take my contour and place it here, like behind my jaw. It really makes my jaw look more square here, which it's not, by the way. Look at that. Wow. Magic. Wow. Okay, so I just spilled literally an entire full cup of iced coffee directly into my very own crotch. Now, because I don't have another chair to sit on that makes sense for this space that I can fit here as the right height, I just put a towel over the chair so that the coffee doesn't soak into my asshole. But in better news, I also did my eyebrows, which means that we are ready to start working on an eye look. which I also haven't planned yet. Wow, we're doing great today, guys. We're so good at this. Pro YouTuber. I'm gonna take my BH number 7 and I'm gonna start by going into the, what shade do I want to use? Let's start by going into the shade Beach, using circular motions to just blend that as we go, because it is a pretty light color, so you shouldn't have to work too hard to use it. Next, I'm gonna grab a MAC 221 and I'm gonna go into this shade Suntan. I'm gonna start to use that to deepen the crease up, but I'm gonna be keeping that above my natural crease. And to get an even smoother blend on that, just going back over it with BH number 7 that we used for the first shade, just melting them together. Just marrying them up. I'm like extra annoying today. I'm sorry. Don't unsubscribe, I swear. I'm not always. Imagine if I had drank the iced coffee instead of taking it square to the that would have been worse. Next, I'm gonna grab a Sigma E36 and I'm gonna go into the shade Magma, and I'm basically gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna make it even smaller of a space. Still making sure I bring it over that eyelid vein of mine though, because that always helps things look a little bit more blended. I'm gonna grab a pencil brush and go back into the shade Magma. I'm gonna use that on the outer corner of the eye, bring it right into where we put it in the crease, and the inner corner too. Right on the outer part here, I like to do like a little circular motion, just helps to blend before we actually like start to work our blend, you know? For this look, I am going for like a soft, summery sort of a feel, but I do find it to be slightly more flattering when I add a little bit of structure to my lid. So I am going to grab my NABLA Cut Crease Maker brush, like so, and a light concealer. This is actually just the white one from Urban Decay. And I'm going to pop that on the back of my hand, create a little spotlight in the center for us to put a bright shimmer shade down. Probably don't need like a full-on white concealer for this, but this is just the one I have dedicated to doing cut creases right now, so that's what I'm using. Bringing that cut right above the natural crease where it sits when my eye is open. And just using my finger to tap out the edge of the concealer, so it's not like a harsh line for us to try to put colors over. There are so many like pretty bronzy colors. Well, naturally, obviously, it's a fucking bronze palette, but there's a lot of choices in here, and they're all very pretty, but also they're all very similar, which both intrigues me and annoys me. So I'm gonna begin my annoyance by grabbing a MAC 242 brush, and I'm gonna go into this darker shade here that's also a shimmer called High Degree, and I'm gonna use that right on the edge of where I put that concealer down, just a little bit of it. The formula on these NATASHA DENONA shadows, it is really beautiful, I have to say. Like, I know I always like a little bit talk some shit because like they're so expensive, especially the full-size palettes. Like this is one of the mini ones that's $65, but the full-size ones are like 100 something friggin' dollars. And like, I don't know, like I get it because they're gorgeous, but like, is any eyeshadow worth that amount of money? I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna take that same brush and I'm also gonna go into the shade Bliss, which is like a peachy sort of a shade with a little hint of a gold shift to it. It looks very, very nice. So I'm going to pop that in the center, but not all the way up to the top. So just like from the lash line, kind of toward the crease, but not all the way through the crease. I'm just tapping that right over onto the other shade to blend them together. And again, I'm gonna take that same brush and I'm gonna go into the shade True Bronze. And I'm gonna put that at the top of that cut crease, right up to the edge of where we put the concealer down. That'll give us like a nice little bright pop, like a shine line where we made that cut crease. And on my ring finger, I'm gonna pick up just a little bit more of that same shade and I'm gonna pop it right in the center of the lid over those other shimmers. Since we're keeping the skin a little bit on the light side, before I conceal under my eyes, I'm going to go ahead and grab a makeup wipe and I'm going to wipe away any semblance of fallout that might be like directly under the eye area. I didn't see a lot with this palette, but yet there is some stuff on this here cloth of mine, so there must have been some. The reason I'm doing that is because generally if there was like a very small amount of fallout and you went over it with like a good amount of concealer, wouldn't be a big deal. But because I'm going to be using very light concealer today, not that the formula is any different because I'm going to use my regular concealer, but I'm only going to use a couple little dots instead of doing like the full on like under eye triangle situation. Therefore, it's not going to be a lot of it. So we want it to look clean even though we're keeping it light. So I'm gonna grab my Urban Decay Stay Naked Concealer and I'm just gonna pop a couple of dots of it underneath my eye. Now, That's not like a minuscule amount of concealer or anything, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot less than I normally wear because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't wear heavy face makeup in general, but I do usually go pretty hard with the under eye concealer. I'm gonna grab this little Too Faced highlighting brush. Now, obviously this is not meant for concealer, but I like its little round baby head for getting under my eyes. So I'm just gonna buff the concealer in with that. And I'm gonna like assess where I need a little bit more. So I feel like I need a little bit more right there and there, and maybe right there. And then I'm gonna buff that in too. And by buff, I mean, I'm just gonna like kind of press it in with the brush in a tapping motion because, well, first of all, I'm just gonna fuck up and get it like up onto my eyeshadow apparently, but just keep it concentrated in that one spot so we don't lose the coverage of it. And then we don't have to add more. That's how we're keeping it light, folks. Now to set that, where I would normally use like a brightening under eye powder or a loose setting powder, something that has a little bit more coverage and heaviness, what I'm going to use today is the Urban Decay All Nighter powder. This is a waterproof setting powder, and I find it to be honestly almost completely indetectable on the skin. However, it really is waterproof. So I'm gonna just take that and press that on my Blendiful again, right under the eye area. And because this is so light on the skin, I'm gonna take a little bit more of it and I'm just gonna roll it over my whole face. To continue the eye look, I'm gonna grab a gold pencil. This is a House of Lashes Sephora gold pencil. Any gold eye pencil will do the same trick. I'm just gonna run that through the waterline, brighten it up and make it a little bit glitzy looking, you know? Oh. Wow, I also just got that everywhere too. What is wrong with me? You know what it is? It's because I just got my period. I can't even speak. Am I the only one who feels like they're really clumsy on the first couple days of their period? Because holy shit, I am the clumsiest bitch. The under eye, I was thinking, I'm just gonna go in and do exactly the same thing I did on the top. But why do that when I can try some of the other mattes that are in here? So I'm gonna use the shade Sundown this time. I feel like it's not gonna look any different than Beach because they are almost identical even in the pan, and things tend to be even more identical when you put them on the skin and spread them out. So I'm just gonna sweep that underneath the eye. Okay, it's definitely warmer, so there is some difference. Fair enough, Natasha. I'm doing that with a BH number 7, by the way. Grab a clean blending brush, just blend the edge of that out. I'm gonna pick up the same pencil brush that I used earlier and I'm gonna go back into the shade Magma. I'm just gonna use that underneath the lower lash line and around the outer corner to the top. I just had a thought, and if 2020 has taught me anything, it's that thinking is a mistake. However, here we are. So I'm gonna go into the shade Deep Dive, which by the way, reminds me of the color Plastic from the original NABLA Cuties collection palette. The nude one, you know, the nude cutie. I'm gonna grab that on a MAC 223 brush and I'm going to just push it along the outer corner on the top lid, almost like a liner. I'm also gonna do it on the outer corner on the bottom, so it's like slightly just lined on the outer corner there. Finally, on a clean pencil brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Silk and I'm gonna use that to highlight the inner corner. You know what, that does look silky. That looks silky as shit. I'll give them that. While I'm waiting for my lash glue to dry, let's finish up the rest of this skin. So, when I told you that this was a lighter, bronzier look, it is. The actual coverage of this is a lot lighter than what I normally go for, but doesn't mean we're not using a lot of things, because using a lot of things, unfortunately, seems to be the key to like making stuff look good. I don't make the rules, it's just what it seems like. So I'm gonna grab the NABLA Skin Glazing Highlight in the color Amnesia. This is my everyday highlighter, and I'm gonna pick it up on the Wet n Wild Bretman. I always want to say Wetman Rock when I do this because of the words sound the same. But I'm gonna grab my Wet n Wild Bretman Rock highlight brush. I'm just gonna hit the high points of my cheeks with that. I'm also gonna highlight my chin, because I don't know if you guys find this to be true, but I think when I highlight my chin, it also helps my jaw look more defined. It makes my jaw look more forward, you know? I'm gonna grab this little Luxie blush brush, and I would be using the NABLA blush that I used in the NABLA video just to complete the NABLA bronzing highlighting situation we've got going on here. But the colors that I have, or the colors that they have rather, are not warm enough for what I want to do here. So I'm gonna grab an oldie but a goodie. This is the BECCA blush in the color Wild Honey. It's a very, very warm toned blush, but it's also like kind of on the nudish side, so it kind of goes along with the whole bronzed skin situation pretty well. I'm just gonna pop that on top of where I put the highlight. This technique helps to blend your highlight a little bit sometimes and tone it down. Now with this one and done from Urban Decay, you can see most of my freckles still, especially on my nose where I didn't put any concealer, and you can definitely still see my moles on most of my face. But I like to bring back the ones that I've lost with a little bit of coverage. So I'm gonna grab FRECK. FRECK is like, it's good. It works really well, but it's like so overpriced that I can't ever in good conscience tell you guys to get it over other ways to make freckles. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I stand on that. And I just like to take a couple of little dots. Well, that's more than a couple. I'd actually just put a shitload, but it doesn't really matter. I put them down and then I take my finger and I just tap over them. And literally it makes the most natural version of freckles. Like you could barely even tell the difference between the real ones and the fake ones at that point, which in this instance is my goal. I do this pretty much every time I do my makeup, but especially with a look like this. I'm just gonna go in where I do have moles and just use FRECK to kind of bring them back out so they're a little bit darker. And finally, I'm gonna grab the MAC Fix Plus in the shade Bronzelite. This is the one I also reviewed recently. Any of the Fix Plus shimmers will do, but this one specifically looks like extra bronzy and good. So I'm just gonna use a medium amount of it to just bronze me up even further. This adds to the glow a little bit, and that's it for the skin. I'm gonna stick some lashes on and then we'll add a lip to this, so hang in there. I'll be right back. Wow, there's a big fly. Get out of here. I put on House of Lashes Stella Luxe, and now all we have to do is add a lip to this look. So I love the combination of like bronzed summer skin, bronzy eyes, and a bright like orange red lip. So I'm gonna use the color Scandal, the pencil from Melt Cosmetics, all over my whole lip. For the rest of this video, I had the Agave lip mask from Bite on my lips just to like prep them. And what I did was I only blotted a portion of it off. So now there's like a slick kind of a base, but not like too much for me to put a pencil over, which I find helpful when you're using a lip liner over your whole lip. And this is the finished look. So my initial impression of this palette is, as far as NATASHA DENONA palettes are concerned, which I will disclose in advance that I have only used the cheap ones, okay? You are not gonna catch me spending $129 on an eyeshadow palette. I can't do it. I don't know why, I just can't do it. But I have used several of the smaller ones before, and from what I understand, some people say that these smaller ones have a different formula. I cannot confirm or deny because I have not used both, also have not like researched into whether they changed the formula for that. But out of these small palettes that I have used, the $65 ones, I like this one the best as far as the performance of it is concerned. Now, is it the most exciting color story that I've ever seen in my life? Hell no, not even close. But I will say that I am impressed with the difference in undertones in a lot of the matte shades when you put them on the eyes. They look more different from each other than you would expect them to. That being said, it's a bronze palette. It's not that exciting. It's a bronze palette. But if you're looking for a bronze palette, it's a very nice bronze palette. I didn't have any issues with blending. I didn't have any issues with patchiness. Everything was nicely pigmented. I didn't have a lot of fallout. Everything worked really well. It's just, you know, it's just a fucking bronze palette. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you picked this palette up, what you thought of it, if you think the color story is a little bit boring like I thought. Have you used the bigger Natasha Denona palettes? Do you find that there's a formula difference? Whatever your thoughts are on the matter, anything that I've mentioned in this video, leave them in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. If you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe because I'd love to have you around for future videos. If you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, if you do want me to do more like skin stuff in my videos, leave a like on it so I know that you like it, and also because it's very helpful and I would really appreciate it. In the event that you would like to keep up with me between videos, I'm at Miss Quinface over on Instagram. I update my stories all the time, so it's a great way for us to keep in touch with each other, and I would love to have you over there as well. That is all for today. I'm gonna go figure out how to get the gallon of iced coffee out of the seat of this chair because, oh my god, I can feel it soaking through the towel. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one.